Hey everyone, I'm Rachel and I'm owner of Earthbones. Today I'm going to talk about how to fix your jewelry at home. I've had a few people over the years send me jewelry or ask me to fix what they think is broken, when really it's just a really quick, easy fix. I hate for you guys to pay for shipping for something that you could just kind of fix at home. And then for any other jewelry you have just lying around in a shelf or in a drawer, you can pull that out and hopefully you can fix those as well. So today I'm just going to be talking about chain and how to fix necklaces, because that's kind of the easiest and biggest problem that I'm finding. So I just have a simple crystal pendant necklace with a sterling silver filled chain. So I'm going to start by kind of just reviewing different tools that are super cheap that you can have at home, just so you can use them for anything. So first off, we have some pliers, some cutters. So these are really easy. They're good for cutting chain, they're good for cutting wire, good for cutting any little extra piece that's kind of hanging off that you don't want there. Some normal pliers. I like to use these little tiny ones because they are just easier to use and smaller to put away, so they don't take up as much space. And then we have bottlenose pliers as well. It's called bottlenose because it has kind of like this little bottlenose idea right here. Okay, so we're also going to talk about lobster clasps, and we're also going to talk about jump rings. This is somewhat difficult on a video. So all jump rings have a slice in the middle of them. So these are open jump rings. If there is a closed jump ring, that means that you can't really do much with it, but it won't really be an issue with what we're talking about. So if it's actually just a broken jump ring, if there's actually a piece missing or it's cut in half, then you can't really do anything with it. But a lot of the times I'm finding people think that a piece is broken just because their chain or their lobster clasp or some sort of clasp has fallen through the chain. So I'm going to talk about how to open a jump ring, how to put on a lobster clasp. Maybe it's tarnished or your lobster clasp has broken. And then I'm going to talk about how to close it back up so your chain does not open. So when you're opening I'm going to come a little closer. When you're opening a jump ring, you want to use two tools. So they're basically your fingers, but it's going to be a lot easier to use the tools instead of your fingers. So you're going to take one side with one tool and one side of the other. You're going to see the little opening right here at the very top. I don't know if my iPhone can show it. So the opening is facing up, and instead of pulling them out, I'm actually going to just twist my jump ring. So one side is closer to me and one side is away from me. So this will fit pretty much anything. It'll allow you to take off a chain. Maybe your chain has broken or you want to make it a shorter chain. Maybe you want to add on a lobster clasp. So we're going to just slide that lobster clasp right on. Maybe your chain has fallen through and you want to put it back on. This is the most important part when you're closing a lobster clasp or closing a jump ring. It is making sure the space or the opening is completely closed. So instead of just kind of, so see how it's very open right now, instead of just kind of twisting them back together and that being kind of it could be it, but what we're going to do is really make sure that it's closed, so that we're going to kind of let them, do you hear that slight click? I don't know if you can hear it, but you're basically allowing them to kind of high five or touch as you're wiggling them forward into a comfortable position. So if you just kind of bring them close together, wire will sometimes not be as precise as you want and it's going to go a different direction. But if you go back and forth a few times, then it should be closed. The way to check if a jump ring is closed is if you put it up to the light and if you don't see any space in between. So iPhone is not very good at showing you things that are close up, but I promise you it is closed. So if you're looking up into the sky, into the air, and you see that there's no space in between the two, then you are good to go. So let's say some of your chain has broken. So let's say your chain broke right here next to your stone or kind of in the middle of the chain. That's going to not really be that easily replaceable. But let's say your chain broke somewhere up here. So close to the clasp, and you have all the rest of this stuff and you're like, but my chain is broken. So the way to take this chain off and to kind of replace it, you're going to open your jump ring. Remember, you're going to twist, not pull open. Twist, and you can just take off. See, I use my tools a lot instead of my fingers because my fingers are going to be really too big for all these tiny pieces. So always use your tools and always clamp really, really tight. I'm just going to slide that little extra piece off that I don't really need. I'm going to slide the chain back on the jump ring. This might be the more difficult part. And then you slowly close them back together, checking in the light to make sure there's no space in between. It's not going to be an exactly perfect fit or length. So your clasp might be a little bit to the side, but now at least it's wearable and it's an easy fix. So that's pretty much it for fixing a lobster clasp or fixing a jump ring. If you think, well, mine's kind of broken or they've tarnished because I wear them every day for a few years, really cheap places could be Michael's or your local craft store, and you can just have a few of them in stock just in case they're broken, just in case maybe you have a vintage piece or pieces that you used to wear that now you think they're broken, or the clasp has broken or some of the chain has broken. Just go to Michael's, pick up a few little pieces of jump ring, just a normal size jump ring. You don't need too big, you don't need too small. Some lobster clasps, they have smaller and larger ones depending on how much easier to open up. And just grab some of these tools. These tools are very cheap, again, at Michael's or a local craft store. And you can pick them up, and this is all you pretty much need. So let's say you have a jump ring that's opening on a purse, or you have some wires on something that you just need to kind of finagle. Sometimes your fingers just aren't good enough for that. So all you need is a normal bottlenose plier and a regular pliers, and you will be fine to fix anything that might be broken. Of course, if you ever break something and you really just don't want to replace it yourself, or you don't want to fix it or maybe somehow make it worse, you can always send things to me and I fix things free of charge. You just pay for shipping. But in case you want to try your hand and be a little creative with your pieces, and especially some pieces that are really close to your heart, I would advise for you to pick up some of these tools and just try to fix them on your own. All right, that's it for today. Something really simple that I hope really works for you and your jewelry. Let me know in the comments if you liked this video. This is my second IGTV, so I'm really excited. Thank you so much for all of your feedback and everything you guys talked about with my first video. It's kind of showing me what you guys are interested in. And yeah, so look out for my next video next month. All right, have a good one, guys.